Coming up on Mountain News at 6, we talk to family and friends of a beloved Eastern Kentucky doctor who recently died of cancer.
People rallied behind him because he led by example, and Dr. Goble led by example.
And plans are being discussed among local leaders about a new ATV trail in Perry County that could connect to other counties and help boost the economy.
Chances are increasing for a few gusty thunderstorms as we start 2022. I'll have the very latest on the way. Chances tonight and this weekend. Right now at 6.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
The funeral was held today for a doctor who is remembered for not only the work he did in the medical field, but the care he had for the mountains he called home. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more as colleagues remember Dr. Mike Goble.
Those who love him say Dr. Michael Goble was Floyd County's doctor.
When one of our friends, our colleagues, our leaders passes untimely like this, it leaves a mark on all of us.
With a dedication and determination that is unrivaled, fueled by compassion.
Not long after he found out that he had pancreatic cancer, I had a little problem with my heart, and that night he was calling to check on me, and that's just the kind of person that he was.
A man rooted in changing and saving lives in his mountain community.
This was Mike's culture, and those were Dr. Goble's patients, and he was just an absolute pillar of our medical staff, and you won't be able to replace that.
Dr. Goble died Thursday, but his community will not remember the cancer that took him. They will remember the man who brought them through so much.
People rallied behind him because he led by example, and Dr. Goble led by example.
From his family practice work at Prestonsburg Primary Care to his work at Appalachian Hospice.
You didn't have to ask Mike to help you. He always, he volunteered.
To the role he took in establishing and leading the Highlands ARH COVID team.
He was just a true hero amongst us, and we will miss him.
But his legacy is more than healthcare.
There'll be no replacing Dr. Goble.
It is the heart he shared. In Prestonsburg, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Doctors say Goble could have chosen anywhere to serve and practice medicine, but he wanted to be home. And now they plan to make sure his home always remembers his name. Happening right now, visitation for legendary banjo player J.D. Crow. Crow died on Friday. His visitation is at the Jessamine Christian Church. Of course, Crow was a Kentucky native. It lasts until 8 o'clock tonight. Now his funeral is tomorrow at 1 at the same location. Crow began his bluegrass career in the 1950s with the Sunny Mountain Boys. He later formed the Kentucky Mountain Boys. In 1971, he changed the name of that group to the New South, which many consider one of the most influential bluegrass groups. He was 84 years old. At Baptist Health Richmond, healthcare workers are already seeing more COVID hospitalizations than last January, and they are expecting this surge to get worse. Hospital officials report seeing more patients in the ER test positive for the virus. They are also seeing more young people get sick, as young as 20 years old. Unlike many hospitals across the Commonwealth, Baptist Health Richmond is fully staffed, but officials are prepared to make changes if a COVID influx arrives.
We have leadership and ancillary staff and nurses that are in professional roles who are ready, educated, and can jump in and help if necessary.
The hospital also created more room for COVID patients. Demand for COVID tests continues to increase across Kentucky. Clinics in our region say they stocked up on supplies ahead of Christmas to try and meet post-holiday demand. Doctors expect post-Christmas demand to peak later this week after more symptoms start showing up. Doctors say if you feel sick, you should get tested, even if you have to wait. And health leaders in Woodford County distributed at-home COVID-19 test kits today. They handed out their entire supply this morning. Officials say they went very quickly. The tests were handed out at both city and county fire stations in Versailles and Midway. Chief Melvin Montgomery with the Woodford County Fire Department says these tests have been a hot ticket item both times they've been available. Well, Governor Andy Beshear reported today that the positivity rate continues to increase, saying it is now clear that Kentucky is in a surge from the Omicron variant. Today's positivity rate reached a new record for the year. The state reported 5,530 new cases today, bringing our case total now to 856,145. We had 21 new deaths as well, putting the Commonwealth's death toll at 12,118. The positivity rate is now at 14.46%. There are also now more than 2.5 million Kentuckians vaccinated. You can always find the latest COVID information on our website at WYMT.com.
Continuing to watch a few showers work into the region, not just now, but later on tonight. And then an even bigger chance as we head towards the new year, Friday night and into Saturday. Outside now, some of us actually dry. London Corbin Airport not seeing much right now. Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. I-75 at Mount Vernon also mostly dry at this hour. Temperatures did manage to get up into the 60s, near 70. In fact, Somerset managed to get to 70 before the at least the cooler air began to move in with this particular frontal boundary pushing through. Mid-50s around just about everybody right now. As a matter of fact, our warm spot is 57 in London. Our cool spot, the typical spot, Wise at 52. Monticello also coming in at 57. Pinpoint Doppler out there right now. You see, we have an area of showers along the southern tier of counties into East Tennessee as well as into Southwest Virginia. A lot of what's in Kentucky not reaching the ground, but still keeping an eye on it. We take you out to the west and you see the next round of potentially heavy rain moving through, a big-time system moving through the deep south, low pressure spawning tornado watches and warnings across Alabama and Mississippi. That's where the greatest risk for severe weather will lie throughout the night. But a few rumbles of thunder not out of question here either. Near 60 an overnight low as those showers continue right on through the nighttime hours. I'll have the latest on when yet another chance for rain comes in coming up in just a bit. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Today in Taylor County, FEMA is on the ground. An EF3 tornado hit that part of the region a few weeks ago. Families are still rebuilding their homes there. FEMA workers went to help get the ball rolling on applying for assistance. In addition to helping families apply for help, FEMA officials are also sharing tips on how to avoid scammers.
They might, for example, go out into the area, knock on doors, ask folks if they've applied, and tell them that for a fee they can expedite their applications through the system. FEMA does not do that. There are no such contractors.
Emergency Manager Ronnie Dooley says he hopes to open a temporary assistance center for FEMA so that people can get more direct help within the next couple of weeks. Michael Jonathan, the founder of Woodsong's Old Time Radio Hour, is spearheading efforts to collect musical instruments to send to Western Kentucky. It is to replace any instruments that were destroyed or lost. Since 2 weeks ago, more than 100 instruments have been donated from all parts of the country. One woman even wanted to give away an 800-pound piano. One Richmond music store is making sure all the instruments are ready to go before being sent out to Western Kentucky.
We were lucky on this one. Somebody was nice enough to put brand new strings on it before they sent it to us. I still need to clean it a little bit. They're not your basic needs, but they're right up there for your emotional needs.
If you would like to donate an instrument, you can look for this story on our website at WYMT.com and click on the link. In Pulaski County, an online group helped catch a suspected online predator. The deputies arrested 46-year-old Floyd T. Adams at the Cinema 8 movie theater in Somerset back on December 18th. Members of the online group known as Predator Poachers told deputies that Adams thought he was meeting an 11-year-old girl at the movies. Adams is now charged with procuring or promoting the use of a minor. His case will now go to a grand jury. WYMT's Zach Hawk is in Pulaski County working on this story, and we'll have much more tonight at 11. Tomorrow is your deadline if you want to change political parties and vote in the upcoming May 17th primary election. You can change or update your voter information on the Secretary of State's website. Although Democrats dominated registration in Kentucky for decades, that's been narrowed almost to a draw. There are only around 50,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans in Kentucky at this point. 2022 will be a big year for Kentucky elections, with voters choosing local leaders, school board members, and most members of the Kentucky legislature. Kentucky will also pick its members of Congress, even though at this point, new district lines have not yet been set. ATV enthusiasts in Perry County will not have to travel too far to find a trail now that the Perry County Fiscal Court plans to build an ATV trailhead and RV park soon. WYMT's Alyssa Williams talked to those behind the project about the economic impact this could have on Perry and surrounding counties.
What is now a quiet plot of land will soon enough be filled with the sound of people and ATVs.
We're taking the natural beauty that we have here, we're reinventing ourselves and giving people an opportunity here.
The Perry County Fiscal Court is planning to build an ATV trailhead and RV campground along Kentucky Highway 476 in the Rowdy community. Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander says this project serves several benefits.
It will be a great economic opportunity, and it'll be a great economic opportunity for that community. You'll see citizens who will start renting cabins or rent side-by-sides, or possibly see a little mom and pop store go up. There's a lot of room for growth there that will be a very positive impact.
This trailhead will connect to Breathitt and Knott counties, which Knott County Judge Executive Jeff Dobson says is part of a larger project, aiming to connect trails from one end of the Commonwealth to another.
Well, we're excited to see other counties getting involved and connecting our trails throughout the eastern region. Our goal is to connect all counties as possible, make the trails as long as possible, because I really think it's going to benefit Knott County. It's going to benefit surrounding counties.
Looking to band together to bring more opportunities to the mountains. Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander says the ATV trailhead should be ready in 2 to 3 years from now. The UK football team is in Orlando, just days away from a Citrus Bowl matchup with Iowa. Brian Milam is there, finding out how the defense plans to stop Iowa's run game.
The last couple of years, UK has been a ground-oriented ball team. But with Will Levis and Wandale Robinson, this passing attack, it has opened up the running game even more for a guy like Chris Rodriguez. Rodriguez finishing the regular season with almost 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. But it's his running style which really impresses the Iowa defense.
I can't remember when I see him have negative yards. And that's going to be a challenge for us. I think he's a good running back. He can run the ball well, and that's what they want to do, is run the ball.
You don't get a full feel for Chris until you truly go live and people need to tackle him. That's been the thing that has been probably the most impressive since getting around Chris, is once you get him going, he's just rarely going to lose yards.
That's not a thing that I like to do, is go backwards. That's one thing, like when I was growing up, my coach always told me to fall forward, and that's all I know how to do. When you run with a mentality that you want to score, or even coaches like, it's 3rd and 1, Chris, we need you to go get a yard. You run with a mentality that you want to go get a yard. You know, if you put your mind to it, you'll accomplish it.
Of his 397 career rushes, only 12 have been for negative yards, and he also had a string of more than 100 carries in a row where he was always moving in the right direction. At Celebration High School in Florida, I'm Brian Milam, WYMT Mountain Sports.
The Citrus Bowl will kick off at 1 p.m. this Saturday on ABC. We'll hear more from Brian tonight at 11 and the rest of the week.
Brian out there enjoying the nice weather for us. Things get a little bit on the wetter side as we finish out the work week. I'll have the details on that on the way. And from maintaining one's home to seeing how one library is helping teach lifestyle basics to young folks.
WYMT